Hello and welcome to Leicester Fan TV. It's Locks here again. You're probably sick of seeing me now. Look, I know you only had filled, less than 24 hours ago. But I just thought I'd come on. Let's have a chat, get your comments in. Let us know what you think. As you can see in the title, still no announcement on the manager front or anything really. We had the Northampton friendly announcement, I suppose, but as Gray says here, faffing about as usual. Yeah, let me know, guys. Get your comments in, drop us a like, hit subscribe, all of that usual stuff, and let us know what you think to the silence from the club, the lack of announcements. We've seen this evening, in the last couple hours, something weird going on with the manager odds. We've seen like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer rocket to the top, and Rafa Benitez was up there as well. Enzo Maresca, who was obviously who's the Man City coach. He dropped down in the last few days, and now he rocketed back up for a bit. And obviously you've got Scott Parker there as well, who has been at the top for quite a while. So let me know what's going on. What do you think's going on? Nick is here. Evening Locks. Club's becoming a joke now. Transfer window opens tomorrow and still no manager. That is correct. The transfer window does open tomorrow. So, you'd have thought that as of tomorrow, Leicester, newly relegated to the Championship, Leicester City, should be making moves. We've heard one move, which is apparently might happen, which is Jerry Yates, the striker from Blackpool. That's one thing we've heard. But no proper movement. But we can't make any moves anyway because we've got no manager. Surely we need a manager to decide what players are gonna come in. That's if the new manager is going to be trusted with the signings. Who knows? Danilo's here. Hi. Let me know, guys. Drop a hi, drop a comment, whatever. If you are watching, drop a comment so I know you're here and we can have a chat. Andy says that this no manager situation is a joke now. Danilo says still no manager. Jamie says, what's with all the silence at the club? Tell me about it. Nick Moore says, even Locks, club's becoming a joke now. Transfer window opens tomorrow. Yeah, we saw that comment. Exactly. I completely agree with you. Imtiaz says, still don't want Scott Parker. He's such a backwards appointment. Imtiaz, I think, do you mean backwards from Dean Smith or backwards from Brendan Rodgers? Because we all know Rodgers needed to go. However, if you're going on reputation, obviously Brendan Rodgers is a more reputable manager than Scott Parker. But we're in the Championship. We're seeing now rumours and murmurs of Brendan Rodgers going to Celtic. And if that happens, that means he's chosen Celtic instead of Leeds. He's turned down the Championship potentially because the rumour is that he spoke with Leeds yesterday. So we are in the Championship. Are we going to get anyone better than Scott Parker? Let me know in the comments if you think we can even do better than Scott Parker. Because, we already know Potter's turned us down. He definitely turned us down in April. Has he turned us down again? It sounds like it. Bookies don't normally get it wrong, but until we hear from the club, let's wait and see. Listening to rumours does fans' heads in. Yeah, I mean, you're right. Normally the bookies are quite accurate. However, Scott Parker's been up there for a while, but my point is, Maresca's been up there today. Benitez, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been up there today. What's going on? Does that mean something's happening, guys? If the bookies are going a bit crazy this evening, does it mean something might be happening at the club? And they're getting wind of a few different things. Obviously, they can't all be our manager, but who knows? I still believe it will be Scott Parker, and I believe that announcement will be tomorrow. Don't hold me to that, but I'm pretty sure we'll get an announcement very soon, and I think it will be Scott Parker, but we'll see. Shambles and BR not here. Brendan Rodgers was sacked on the 2nd of April. Yes, did I read today? 71 days since Rodgers went, I believe. Something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong, if you know. Hi, Locks. We are looking pretty desperate right about now. Yeah, it's not looking... What's the meme? It's not looking good, bruv. It's not looking good, bruv. We need Scott Parker plus transfer window opens tomorrow. Yep. The question is, does anybody want it? I would assume so. I think there's a few managers out there that will... you'd imagine we could probably pluck... the best talent from the Championship, the ones that aren't going to the Premier League, of course. Some managers might think of it as whether you agree with it or not, some managers might think of it as a shortcut to the Premier League. We're favourites to win the Championship, we're favourites to go up. So, Kieran McKenna has been spoken about from Ipswich. He's got a good thing going on at Ipswich, I believe, but could he see it as a little shortcut to the Premier League? Imtiaz is correct, Locks. If we go with Parker, we'll be playing Brendan Bull. Yeah, we've read it today a lot. A lot of Fulham and Bournemouth fans online giving Leicester fans a little bit of a warning of what might come from Scott Parker. But we're going to have a little look at Scott Parker a little bit more in a second, and we'll also look at any other managers that you want to take a look at, of course. I think Enzo will send us up, Danilo said. Well, this is the thing. A lot of people are saying, take the risk on Enzo. But, without being... I know he's more than this. What I'm about to say, I know he is more of this. But, he puts the cones out for Man City, right? Scott Parker's got 2 teams promoted. Fulham, Bournemouth. 2 teams in a similar position to us that got relegated. Scott Parker came in, took them up. Enzo Maresca has been a coach or an assistant manager, whatever he is. He's never managed a club. Never. And Andy makes a good point. And Andy said Enzo has got pep on speed dial. That is true. Where is the planning? Rodgers been gone 70 days. Why haven't we been ahead of the curve? Yeah, completely, James. When, the club's known for a while now that relegation is a very big risk. We brought in Dean Smith. That looked like a bit of a panic kind of appointment, if you like, because we tried Potter and then we tried Jesse Marsh, apparently. But you'd have thought that they would have planned for every possibility. You'd have thought they would have planned, when they went for Dean Smith or even after Dean Smith, up until the West Ham game, the last game of the season. Did they not think, right, this is who we want if we stay up? I'd imagine that would have been Potter. This is who we want if we go down. It takes 2, 3, whatever. It takes 2 or 3 days, I would imagine, to interview a couple manager candidates, have a chat about negotiation, all of that. So, it's weird. Maybe tomorrow morning they announce it. I've got a feeling we're going to hear something tomorrow. All right, I have got a feeling we are going to hear something tomorrow. We'll have to see. I could be wrong. I don't want to annoy anyone or get anyone's hopes up, but I believe we will hear something tomorrow. We want someone who will galvanise and toughen the team up. Absolutely. How have we still not got a manager? It is a joke. Yeah, I agree with you. Stepping stone to the Premier League for most managers. Exactly. That's my point. Why would it be a risk? Look what company did it, Burnley. Well, Hassan, for me, if you've got one manager that's taken 2 teams up, promoted, you've got one manager who's promoted 2 relegated teams, and you've got one manager who has never actually been a manager, one of them's a risk, right? The one who hasn't been a manager, that's a risk in my eyes, but you could disagree. It's no problem. Enzo managed Parma in Italy, got sacked after 4 matches. I didn't know that. I did not know that. If that is the case, then there we go. He has been a manager before, but he got sacked after 4 games. Sign Ismaila Sarr. Yeah, from Watford. You never know. You never know. Transfer window does open tomorrow. Let me know who you think might be a good player to go for. But again, it's hard. It's hard to talk about players when we haven't got a bloody manager. Ugh, annoying. It's no way to run a football club. I can agree with you that on that, Gray. To be fair, Bielsa didn't know the English game. To be fair, Bielsa didn't know the English game, did well at Leeds, Company did wonders with Burnley. Yeah, but Bielsa's a manager, man. Come on. Bielsa's a manager. He's a manager. He always has been. He's been a manager for ages. But Company, I agree. I agree with you. Company, it's kind of a risk. But, he did well at Burnley. Obviously, he was at Anderlecht before that, I think, and did all right. So we'll announce it after the ticket renew. That's an interesting comment to make there, Georgie, actually, yeah. No, that is interesting. We'll announce it after the ticket renewal. Maybe some people won't renew when they see the new manager. Who knows? I did see a comment somewhere asking... Joe Wright, who do you want? Well, obviously, I think most Leicester fans wanted Potter, right? Like, I wanted Potter. Let me know in the comments if you didn't want Potter, but I think most Leicester fans would have wanted Graham Potter. Obviously, it was always going to be unlikely, that one. Back when we first got relegated, I would have thought, I wouldn't have minded Rafa Benitez. I wouldn't have minded Scott Parker, I wouldn't have hated Dean Smith, Nigel Pearson maybe. But since, as days have gone on and it's looking more likely that Scott Parker will be the manager, I've gotten on board with that. And I'm happy. I would be happy with Scott Parker. A lot of people will find it kind of, not very ambitious or whatever, but I think it's fine. I think he'll do the job. I think he'll take us up. So, but I get the argument about what happens when we get to the Premier League, right? I get that. Scott Parker had loads of money to spend with Fulham in the Premiership and messed it up. I mean, let's have a look over here. Let's take a look at something here. Here we go. Let me also put this on in the background because that's very annoying that that's not there. 1 second. That's a bit better, a bit more Leicester-like. Blue. Right. I don't know how much you can see this. Hopefully you can see it okay. So here is Scott Parker's managerial stats. So, obviously he was assistant manager at Fulham for, 9 months or something. So he took over at Fulham on February the 28th, 2019. That's before they got relegated, right, from the Premier League. Am I right in saying that? So they got that happened. He took over, then they got relegated. Obviously, he was previously a Spurs under-18 manager as well, in which he won 12, drew 4, and lost 9. But we won't really talk much about that. Let's have a look. So Fulham, he had 105 games for Fulham. He won 37, he drew 25, and he lost 43. He used 53 different players, not like we really care about that. And his points per match was 1.3 points. 1.3 points. That was Scott Parker's average point ratio at Fulham. And then he took over Bournemouth. Obviously, at Fulham, I must add, he got relegated with Fulham. He then got promoted with Fulham, and then he got relegated again with Fulham. I believe that is right. Correct me if I'm wrong. Then he took over Bournemouth, who had just been relegated to the Championship. He took over on July the 1st. I don't know if he just left Fulham to go to Bournemouth, or he was sacked from Fulham. It looks like he might have just left. So, here we go. So he took over at Bournemouth in the Championship. He had 55 games with Bournemouth. He won 29. He drew 13, and he lost 13. I do know that in the Premier League, the year after Bournemouth got promoted, he only actually managed 4 games. He won 1, lost 3, or I believe he won 1 and lost 3, and then he was sacked for basically slagging off the owners for not spending enough money. At Bournemouth, he got a 1.82 points per match ratio, and then it all went downhill. He got sacked from Bournemouth in August, literally 4 games into the Premier League season, and on New Year's Eve he took over Club Brugge, and he had 12 matches. He won 2, he drew 6, and he lost 4. And I believe Club Brugge were the favourites, or one of the favourites at least, I believe, to do well in that league. They ended up finishing 4th this season after Parker's terrible reign, but he was there for, like I said, 12 matches, and that was it. So that's just a basic insight into Scott Parker's managerial history so far. He was under 18s at Spurs. He was an assistant manager at Fulham. He then took over Fulham. He got them relegated. He brought them back up, and then he got relegated again. He joined Bournemouth. He got them promoted. But to be fair, he only managed 4 games for Bournemouth in the Premier League, and he won 1 of them. He was sacked after Bournemouth got smashed 9-0. Yeah, I know that. I mean, so did, Hasenhüttl lost 9-0, and he actually went on to turn things around a little bit before he did eventually get sacked. But yeah, it's they were just the basic stats in Scott Parker. I just thought I'd bring them up because I saw them earlier. I also looked at the transfer history of Scott Parker's signings a few days ago, and they looked okay. Didn't spend too much money. I saw somebody say that he spent a lot in the Championship. I don't think he spent too much. Obviously with parachute payments when you get relegated, you normally do have a little bit of money to spend to try and rebuild. But let me know. Let me know what you think in the comments. Obviously he is, it's who I think will come in, but it might be someone else. So keep getting your comments on who you want to see. Jonathan Powell says, Paper Talk Parker, where's the slightest mention by John Percy? There is no that is true. There is no reputable sources coming out and saying it's going to be Scott Parker. So, who knows? It's just what I believe anyway. I think Ole or Gerrard could get us playing attractive football. Well, Gerrard is out the picture because he has moved to Saudi Arabia, I believe. Yes, it is Saudi Arabia. Hope yous are back in the Premier League by 2024, says Aldo, the Rangers fan. I haven't seen a Rangers fan on here before, so apologies. You may have been on other people's live streams on Leicester Fan TV. But it's nice to see Aldo, and thank you for your comment. Hoping to see us back next year. I think we all hope so too. We can't keep Parker in the Prem. Yeah, I mean, I said this the other day, I don't completely trust Parker with keeping us up. However, I think that the priority has to be going up in the first place, and I feel like that would, he could take us up. Enough of Parker coming in, Locks. Who do you realistically want? I've just said I'm on board now with Scott Parker. I'm on board with it. I said originally I wanted Potter or Rafa Benitez or Nigel Pearson, but that's not going to happen. None of them are going to happen, and I want Parker now. I want Parker. I think it'll be a good signing. I think it was more Scott Parker's post-match comments after the 9-0 that got him sacked. Yeah, he slagged off the board, for not spending enough money, and a lot of people have said, well, that's very Brendan Rodgers-esque. I think in an interview with Scott Parker, between the board and Scott Parker, that will be addressed. It's not like they'll just paper over that. They won't just ignore the fact that happened. So I'm sure that if Scott Parker was to become manager, there will be assurances made by either side on what money he's going to get to spend. So he'll have an expectation of what's to come. It won't be, 3 weeks into being in the door, he's going to slag off top for not giving him enough money to spend. It's not going to be like that. John Dahl would be an awesome one from Blackburn. Yeah, again, that's another name that we've seen. This announcement, the sources are about as truthful as the government saying, don't panic. Yeah, but Ross, don't shut me down like that, mate. Like I've said, I believe the announcement will be tomorrow. Just wait until tomorrow before you slag me off, yeah? Wait until tomorrow. And then if there's no announcement tomorrow, then you can come to me and say the announcement's BS. So wait till tomorrow. Don't write it off just yet. Shaky has better stats, and he's managed in the Champions League. The games he lost at Bournemouth were Arsenal, Man City, and Liverpool. Exactly. I'd give Hassan Hootel a go. It's another name that people have thrown around, guys. It's another name. I want to just talk about something else quickly, because obviously we've spoken a lot about Scott Parker and potential managers. Leicester were linked with yesterday or a couple of days ago to Jerry Yates, a striker from Blackpool who has scored, I believe, 14 goals last season, I believe. I'm going to bring his stats up for us to have a look at. Obviously, most people in the comments will say, Who? Who's that? Which I get. You know, we've gone from being linked with players like, who have we been linked with in the past? I don't know. But, you know, still Vardy, Daka, Iheanacho. We've been now linked with Jerry Yates. But we'll bring it up. I'm going to bring it up on the screen just so we can have a quick look at Jerry Yates and see who he is. So he is a striker from Blackpool, as I said. This season in the Championship, he had 41 goals. 41 goals, blimey. 41 appearances, 14 goals, and 4 assists. And if you care, he's had 5 yellows as well. I don't know if he's done much in the FA Cup. 2 appearances, 1 goal, 2 assists in the FA Cup, and he didn't play in the Carabao Cup. He played 85% of the games he started. So he's a starter. He can play centre forward. He can play on the right or the left. His current market value is around 4 million, and that market value has rocketed in the last couple of years. He's gone from 100 grand to 4 million. He's 26 years old, of course. He's got another year left on his contract with an option for a further year. This is his former clubs. So he played for Rotherham, Harrogate. I'm guessing Harrogate was a loan. Yes, it was. Carlisle, Swindon, and now Blackpool. And Rotherham again and Blackpool. Again, here are his stats this season. 41 games. Well, in total, 43 games, 15 goals, 6 assists. So obviously it's it's not a world star. You know, it's not an elite player, obviously, that we're being linked with now. We are in the Championship. 14 goals, not very impressive. I would argue that it's quite impressive in a Blackpool team, Nick. But yeah, let me know what you think to that. We've obviously been linked with him. Does that mean that Daka, Iheanacho, or Vardy, or maybe 2 of them, are going to be leaving this summer? Obviously, we have seen Daka's statement recently. He released a statement. I don't think I've got it here. No, I haven't. That sounded like maybe he was going to stay. We had this statement from Vardy a few days ago, saying, obviously that he's gutted and disappointed, and personal reflection, and let the magnitude of the situation set in. So we don't know for 100% sure whether he's staying or not. You'd imagine he is, but you'd never know. So yeah, do you think Daka or Nacho might be on their way out? Let me know what you think. We've also been linked with a Celtic player to replace Maddison. Yes, we brought that up on screen last week. It is Matt O'Reilly, and I can assure you right now, Leicester City will not be signing Matt O'Reilly, because Matt O'Reilly is definitely Premier League quality, in my opinion. But you never know. We might pull something out of the bag. Who knows? Nick Moore said Jerry Yates is lethal up front. Daka could beat those stats, and he can't hit a cow's arse with a banjo. Christopher got read who to believe, Locks or Jeevan. Well, Jeevan is no longer on Twitter. He did get suspended. What does that tell you? George Hurst did well at Ipswich. Yeah. Akanji, I don't think so. That was one from last season, but that never materialised. And there was actually some Leicester fans slagging off Akanji, saying it wasn't good enough. Now look at us. So, yeah, we can get Connor Cody for 4 million, Chris Walls says. Interesting. We've spoken about it a few times. I have anyway. I think it would be a crazy signing. It'd be amazing. You know, he's definitely good enough for the Championship. Everton don't want him. Wolves probably don't want him. He's not played for them in about 2 years. So, you know, could he head to the Championship? Maybe Leeds, Southampton, Leicester, one of the three. Who knows? Jack says Leicester Rondon links true. I've not seen that one, Jack, but if that is true, that is interesting. I haven't seen that as of yet. Sean Sarson's here. Evening, Sean. Nice to see you, mate. I'm liking that profile picture, Sean. That's pretty sick. With wrestling belts. I've not seen that. I'll check that out after, mate. That looks cool. Hurst and Vardy up top would be good. Vardy can help his fellow Sheffield lad to become a good striker. Yeah. We spoke about we were speaking about Hurst a couple of years ago, weren't we? Have we missed the boat now? You know, is it? I'm just having a look here, mate, just to see what comes up from. I can't remember how old he actually is. Let me know how old George Hurst is. What have I got here? 24. So yeah, he could still have a turnaround, I suppose. I would have thought he would have been staying at the club a little bit longer. So you never know. Still a Prem team until the Prem League have board meeting in the morning. Yeah, I suppose. But obviously we're definitely not a Premier League team. Parker plays Brendan Rodgers football. That ain't going to cut it in the Championship. You've got to fight and scrap for every point. Well, it cut it in the Championship with Bournemouth and Fulham, Nick. That's what I'll say. Because he got them both promoted. Hurst was at Ipswich. Yeah, I agree. But you never know. Vardy had a bad year with us. It's called the Star. They are my good and fantastic wrestlers. Lovely, Sean. Brilliant. Yeah, it does look like a cool photo. Bournemouth fans booed Parker for boring football. They were top of the league at the time. Yeah. You know, what is more important, Leicester fan? This is actually a genuine question. This isn't me just trying to have an argument with someone. What is more important? Playing great football next season or going up? Let me know. Would you prefer to finish 7th and have scored a load of goals? Or would you prefer to finish 2nd or 1st and have had boring games? Let me know. I'm intrigued to hear that. Would you rather finish 7th in the Championship and play great football, attacking football, or would you rather finish 1st or 2nd and have played boring? Let me know, please. Jerry F. and Yates could be the Matty Fry of this era. Could be. Rafa Benitez's name came up again. I did see that. Yep. Mick says that he would prefer to just go up. Terry says he'd prefer to just go up. Kamlesh Patel says boring games and go up. No question. Chris Wall says win the league with boring football. Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure no Arsenal fans, wish they played a bit more attacking when they won the Invincibles by just winning 1-0s and all that. Number one goal is to get back to where we belong. Don't care how they do it. I mean, remember Leicester City in the 15-16 season. The second half of the season, probably like the final third of the season, we had a few 1-0s. We had a couple of 1-1s. You just have to shut up shop when it matters. Going up is all that matters. Ross says going up when we had Martin O'Neill at times at games were boring, but we still did well and won 2 League Cups. Boring Leicester. I remember that chant back at Filbert Street. We've seen that one, Chris. Yep. Boring games will empty the stadium. I disagree. I think getting promoted will fill the stadium, even if it's boring. straight back up, get the points anyhow. Yeah, guys, like, can we just remember something? Right. Can we just remember something, please? So this season just gone, when we've been going against teams like Fulham and getting battered, trying to get at them, I think a lot of Leicester fans I've seen have said, play more sensibly, shut up shop, game management, go. And now you guys are saying the opposite. What, just because we're in the Championship, we should be playing attacking football? No, the priority is going up. It's a result-driven game, Terry says. We cannot afford another season in the Championship. I completely agree. Guys, we're not going to be on here for much longer, so keep getting your comments in. Let's have a few more conversations. Let me know what you think to Scott Parker. Let me know who you want as the next manager. Let me know who you think we should sell. Let me know even what you think to Yuri Going. Yuri Go. What do you think to Yuri Going? Castagna is going to be leaving. What's going to happen? Game management. It's not football manager. What do you mean, game management? Learning how to bloody see how to win. That's game management. Points make prizes, Chris says. And another Chris says the exact same thing. Chris Wall and Chris Wood, within seconds of each other, saying pretty much the same thing. Great minds think alike, or great Chris's think alike, I suppose. Bye-bye to the wage bill, no matter who, but I'd take Scott Parker. You're forgetting, Locks, this team can't defend for toffee. The only way we get up is attacking football. Nick, that's why we need a manager to come in and sort the team out. Change it. Change the team. Let us, get a fresh manager and fresh ideas. We're going to be getting new players in. Castagna's going. Fass is rumoured to be going. Suter will be starting probably next season. It's a fresh start. This is a Championship, Nick. You can get caught out by attacking teams. You really can get caught out big time. And if we start off the season going at teams really bloody strong, and we end up on a couple bad games, couple bad results in a row, oof. Can you imagine if Leicester lose or draw their first 2 games of the season in the Championship? Can you imagine what the stadium's going to be like? It's going to be absolute toxic. I just want Pearson, but at the same time, didn't most Leicester fans criticise Ranieri when he became manager? He lost to Faroe Islands and Greece as Greece manager. We did all right with Claudio, though, I think. Claudio Ranieri got sacked as Greece manager, right? Ranieri was sacked as the Greece manager. And I'm seeing some of our fans saying, well, Parker got sacked by Bournemouth in the Premier League after losing to Arsenal, Liverpool and Man City. Can't have Parker. Well, Ranieri got sacked by Greece. Or if he didn't get sacked by Greece, he had a bad bloody run with Greece. I think he was sacked. You never know. I was one of them as well. Slagged off Ranieri when he was announced. I understand that. This current crop of players won't get us up. Needs serious overhaul and mentality change throughout the club. Bin off the likes of Fast, Daka, Thomas Pratt, all lightweight for this league. Whoever it is, we need to get behind them. Absolutely, Leicester fans. I think we need to get behind the manager. You might not like the sound of Potter. You might not like the sound of... Sorry, not Potter, Parker. You might not like the sound of Parker. You might not like the sound of Enzo Maresca. But... when it is announced, whoever it is, have a little moan, and then back them to the hills. Please, back them to the hills, because we need to get behind the new manager. We need to get behind any of the new players that come in. If we want to get promoted next season, everyone in the ground has to be very, very, very... they have to get behind the new team and the new manager. Absolutely, because it will help them. Parker got sacked for throwing the board and players under the bus, just like what BR did with us. That ain't going to build a great mentality. Again, Nick, I said it earlier. Do you really think that the board, as in Rodkin and Top, would not know that? They know that happened, and it would have been addressed. It would have been spoken about in interviews. Assurances will be made. Parker will know exactly what he's coming into, exactly what money he's going to have to spend. It's not just going to be the case of him not knowing, and then 5 days into being in the job, he's going to be slagging the board off for not having enough money. It's not going to be like that. We all know Bournemouth needed to spend more money. Yeah, they stayed up last season. They need to spend some money, otherwise they're going to be in the exact same spot as last season, probably worse. We need to stop the booing and get back our boys. We booed Rodgers. I think that was the right thing to do because a change was desperately needed. But yeah, we need to get behind the new man. Until he gives us anything to doubt, because he hasn't given us anything yet, he's not pissed off anyone at the club. He's not pissed off me. He's not pissed off you. He's not pissed off the owners. He's not pissed off the players. He's done nothing wrong yet. So until he does something wrong, let's back him. We need to. This Enzo bloke is probably no better than Adam Sadler. So somebody mentioned about Mark Robbins. Would you take Mark Robbins? Yeah, I mean, it's another manager there whose name's been branded about a little bit. Martin Allen had an argument with our chairman at the time, Milan Mandrić, and he got sacked, and he was 4 games in. Well, there we go. We've got some parallels there, Ross. That's quite similar. So, yeah, guys, that's going to be it. Look, as I said at the start, and it's in the title, there is still no announcement. I have confidence we will hear something tomorrow. I have confidence we will hear something tomorrow. But don't come chasing me with pitchforks if it doesn't happen, please. But I've just got a feeling, just got a little feeling, but we'll see. Of course, whenever it's announced, whenever the new manager is confirmed, you can be sure that Leicester Fan TV will be live within minutes, whether it's me or Phil or anybody else, we will be live within minutes to get the initial reaction to the news. Same with any players out. If Castagna goes or Madison goes, we'll be live. We'll have a chat about it. And I hope you guys are all there as well. Obviously, the live is ending now, but keep dropping your comments in the comments below. Let us know what you think to Parker. Let us know what you think to Maresca, to Tillemans, to Madison, to Castagna, to Daka, to Jerry Yates, to Rodkin, to Susan Whelan, to whatever. Let us know what you think. The Fox down the road, anyone, just let us know in the comments what you think to the club. And as Terry says, you have a feeling in your water. Yes, I do. I have a feeling in my water. We will hear some manager news tomorrow. But for now, we'll leave it there. Hope you all have a lovely evening. And as always, come on, you Foxes.
Thanks for watching Leicester Fan TV. Thanks to our sponsors, ADT Taxis, Everards, Pukka Pies, Pink Car Leasing, Leicester Riders, Hollogram, The Fox's Arms, Peter's Pizzeria, Hope Against Cancer, and Newby Co estate agents. Make sure to follow us on all of our social channels at Leicester Fan TV. Visit our website, leicesterfantv.com.